All right, it is Thursday, November the 12th. There, Ag Mechanics. Today we went over some painting notes. It didn't take us very long to go. So, just to kind of clarify about a couple of things, I mean, the biggest two reasons why we paint is for protection and for appearance. Okay, so when we're talking about painting, there's a lot of different service you can paint. The biggest difference is you need to buy the correct paint for whatever it is that you are painting, material wise. There are preservatives and other ingredients put in paint, especially on exterior paint, that helps kill fungus and prevents insects to where it will make your material last longer. So, substance consisting of pigment suspended in a liquid known as a vehicle. That's kind of crazy. I understand that. All right. It's kind of one of those things to where, once again, with the whole terminology thing that we need to learn. Okay. As that vehicle evaporates, right, that's said to be drying. So you get that fumes in while that paint's drying, right? That's your vehicle evaporating. Kind of crazy. I know. Okay. So basically, there's different sheens that you can buy paint in. Typically, the molding around your floorboards or around your crown molding around your ceiling is going to be a gloss or a semi-gloss paint. It's going to be really shiny. It's going to pop. A lot of interior houses, dining rooms, living rooms are mostly like an eggshell with just a little bit of sheen. Typically, bathrooms are going to be in satin. So there's different colors or different sheens, like how shiny your paint is for different purposes. You have oil-based paint and latex-based paint. The biggest thing about oil-based paint is that you have to make sure that you use either mineral spirits or paint thinner in order to clean the paint. The latex paint or alkali paint is, latex paint is water-based, which means you just clean it with soap and water. Um, and then you have interior and exterior paints, depending on what you want to paint. If you're painting a wood fence for outside, then you would definitely want to use an exterior paint. If you're painting metal, you definitely need to use some oil-based paint. So it just all depends on what you're painting for what kind of paint that you need. Um, as far as primer goes, you can buy primer mixed in with the paint, or you can purchase it separately. Once again, depends on what you're doing. If you're going from a light color to a dark color, you may not need primer. But if you're going from a dark color to a light primer or a light color, from like say a dark blue to a light gray, then you're definitely going to need a primer, or else that color is not going to show up right. Okay. So there's just a couple. You can see the primer is already made into the paint. These are a couple primers you can buy by yourself. Um, Once again, if you're using oil-based paint, you need to use oil-based primer. So the one over here on the left, that is an oil-based primer, and you would use that for oil paint. Application, there's different ways you can apply paint. You can brush it, roll it, spray it. Brushing and rolling is definitely a lot cheaper, but it takes longer to do. If you're using a spray gun, it's going to be faster, but spray guns are a whole lot more expensive than a paintbrush. Okay, so it just all depends on what you're painting and what your intentions are. Brush is pretty simple. If you're using an oil-based paint, you need to use natural fibers. The nap is how thick your roller brush or roller pad is. So that roller that goes on there, right? Your nap is how thick it is. If you're doing something like a concrete block, then you would need a really thick nap because you need all that material to basically squish in those holes as you're going over it. If you're doing something that's extremely flat, like say a concrete sidewalk, but it's completely smooth, right? It hasn't been roughed up, then you would need a roller that was really, really thin so you don't put too much paint down. Spray gun, if you hold it too close, you're going to get runs in it. And if you hold it too far away, it's going to give you a dusty and sandy look. There are two types of typical spray guns, right? A gravity fed gun doesn't require as much pressure. So this is just a picture of if it's too close, you can see how it starts to run on you. It will dry that way, and then it's going to be impossible to fix that unless you completely sand down the surface and do it again. And then if you hold it too far away, you're going to get that dusty appearance. As far as preparation, it's pretty simple. You want to make sure your material is nice and clean. It doesn't have any moisture, any kind of dust or dirt on it. This is called blistering. What that is from where there is moisture underneath the paint and it's evaporating and that air is making those blisters in your paint. Cracking, this typically happens on a lot of older wood, so especially that's been out in the sun. So over time, as that wood expands and contracts, you get this whole cracking. And then dusting is going to cause, or dust or dirt on your material is going to have rough spots on it. And then the quality of your paint, as far as your final quality, what it looks like, depends mostly on your surface preparation. Making sure you sand it correctly and you make sure there's no dirt on there. Some old projects. And then also, you want to make sure you have proper ventilation. If you don't have proper ventilation, you could have some really bad things happen. So you want to make sure that you don't pass out or anything along those lines, get a bad headache. So make sure that you have proper ventilation. And if not, use a respirator to go ahead and filter out all those particulates so you're breathing in clean air. Those were the notes today. There's no Zoom class tomorrow. Your lesson will be posted and there will be a video online for you to complete and get it done before 11:30 if you would like to be marked present today. If you have any questions, email me and I will see you all on Monday. You all have a great weekend.